just switched from Windows to Linux, it probably feels a bit unfamiliar right now, so here are a few tips that every new Linux user should know. First thing, don't expect Linux to look or behave exactly like Windows. On Windows, you've got one main system design that most people are used to. On Linux, the desktop environments can change depending on what you're using. Things like GNOME, KDE, or Cinnamon. This means that menus, taskbars, and settings might be in slightly different places. It doesn't mean that it's worse or better, just different. The key thing here is to give yourself a bit of time to adjust instead of assuming something is missing just because it's not where you expect it. The second tip is that you should use a software store whenever possible. On most Linux distros, everyday apps should be installed through the built-in software manager. This is basically your safe app store. So instead of downloading random installers from websites like you might on Windows, you search for whatever you need in the software manager and install it directly. This is safer because it keeps everything updated properly and reduces the risk of breaking your system. Don't be afraid of the terminal. A lot of new users think that Linux is complicated, but for everyday use you don't actually need to use the terminal most of the time. That said, it can be useful to learn a few simple commands. This first command here updates the system's list of available software. This one installs any available updates. You'll notice here that these commands start with sudo. This just means that you're running the command with administrator permissions, and you'll need to put in your password when you run them. This is similar to running something as admin on Windows. If you want to install an app from the terminal, you can do it like this. Here I'm installing VLC. And if you want to uninstall something, you can just remove it like this. However, you don't need to use the terminal for this. Most of this can be done in the software manager with just a few clicks. The terminal is just another option, and sometimes it can be quicker once you get used to it. The final tip: use the community when you get stuck. Almost any problem you run into has already been solved by someone else. If you encounter an issue, you can simply use something like Linux for Noobs or specialised Linux forums. The answer is usually on the internet, and Linux has a very active online community, which is one of its biggest strengths. So to quickly recap, Linux is different from Windows, so give yourself a bit of time to adjust. Always use the software manager first when installing apps, learn a few basic terminal commands, and use the community if you get stuck. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time.